How do giant fishing ships operate at sea? This is a question that many people wonder when thinking about China's huge fishing industry. With a coastline of more than 14,500 kilometers, it is one of the world's leading countries in seafood production. Every year, millions of tons of shrimp and crab are caught and harvested from fishing grounds across the country. China's shrimp fishing grounds are very rich and diverse. The seas from the north, like the Bahai, to the south like the East Sea and the Gulf of Tonkin, are all important shrimp fishing grounds. Each of these sea areas has its own ecological characteristics, creating favourable conditions for shrimp to grow. Chinese fishermen use a variety of fishing methods in order to optimize shrimp production. Most of the catch comes from trawl nets. This is the most common method, often equipped on large fishing vessels. This trawl net is dropped to the seabed and dragged along by moving ships, collecting shrimp along with other types of seafood. In addition, modern Chinese fishing vessels are also equipped with GPS navigation devices, radar and sonar systems to determine the location of shrimp schools, helping fishermen catch more effectively. After catching, shrimp are preserved right on the boat in order to maintain freshness. Fishing vessels are often equipped with water tanks. This helps to preserve shrimp at the appropriate temperature. Shrimp caught from the sea will be fed into a widespread distribution system throughout China. Shrimp are transported from fishing ports to processing factories or seafood markets in the area. In October, in a place with the densest water systems in Jiangsu province, crab fishing boats begin operation. In less than a month, more than 40,000 tons of crab from Jiangsu will begin a distribution journey to dinner tables across China. Each crab usually weighs 150 to 200 grams. Due to its spiky structure of the crab shell, the process of removing the crab from the net is rather difficult. Fishermen must wear gloves in order to avoid getting injured by these sharp spikes. However, fishermen do not have to use gloves in the fall. This is because the crabs have just changed their shells at this stage, so they are very soft. When autumn comes early in northern China, the growth cycle of crabs is very short. Although crabs in this season are often small in weight, they have the advantage of hitting the market early and catering to impatient diners. Fishermen work intensely in temperatures below 5 degrees Celsius. Each time they transport a batch of crabs, the workers will rest. They will cook noodles with the small crabs that cannot be sold. Usually after resting, fishermen have to harvest crabs late at night until dawn. This is because this is the time with the highest catch of the day. In 24 hours, even the crabs living in the cabin will die from lack of oxygen. Therefore, fishermen will return to shore as soon as possible to distribute the crabs to the market. In the next few hours, these crabs will appear in restaurants. Shrimp fishing is a major industry globally with a catch of 34 million tons each year, especially in Asia. It is also an important part of Korea's maritime economy, using advanced fishing methods to ensure efficient and sustainable harvests. Bottom trawling is the method mainly used by Korean shrimp fishermen. Fishermen cast trawl nets along the seabed to catch shrimp. This method is popular when harvesting large quantities of shrimp and is commonly used in both coastal and offshore waters. Fishermen drag nets through the water column at different depths. This method may be useful in targeting shrimp species that do not live directly on the seabed. However, trawls are used selectively, depending on the species of shrimp and their behaviour. Modern shrimp vessels are equipped with advanced technologies such as sonar and GPS to more effectively locate shrimp populations. These technologies help fishermen optimize catches while reducing time spent at sea. The southern coast of Korea, including the waters surrounding Jeju Island, is known for its diverse marine life and rich shrimp population. The combination of warm ocean currents and diverse underwater terrain makes this area ideal for shrimping. According to the latest statistics, Korea's total shrimp catch in 2023 amounted to around 50,000 tonnes. Similar to fish or squid, shrimp fishing is also banned during specific periods of time. This allows shrimp populations to recover and reproduce. The fishing effort also creates additional jobs at processing plants where shrimp are processed for both domestic consumption and export. Korean shrimp is popular in the international market, especially in Japan, the United States, and European countries. How do Japanese fishermen catch shrimp to earn millions of tons each year? That is the question that many people ask when learning about this country's fisheries industry. With its long coastline and rich seas, Japan has become one of the world's leading countries in shrimp production. Japan's shrimp fisheries extend from the Sea of Oshtok in the north through the Sea of Japan and to the Pacific Ocean, to the East China Sea in the south. White shrimp heralds the coming of spring. It is called the jewel of Oyama Bay. Japanese fishermen apply many advanced shrimp fishing techniques in order to optimize output and minimize environmental impact. The most commonly used tool is the trawl net. Modern trawl nets are designed to minimize bycatch of other seafood species. In the Northern Sea of Japan, fishermen use modern trawl nets to harvest up to 50,000 tons of lobster each year. Meanwhile, in the southern seas, the shrimp trapping method helps harvest an average of 200,000 tons of shrimp per year. Japanese fishing vessels are also equipped with GPS and radar navigation systems. This helps to determine the location of shrimp schools, helping to optimize the fishing process. Fishermen often store a lot of ice. After catching, shrimp are preserved right on the boat to ensure freshness. Modern Japanese fishing vessels often have advanced refrigeration systems, helping to maintain shrimp at ideal temperatures. Shrimp will be classified and placed in cold compartments to maintain their quality. Shrimp products after catching will be distributed to wholesale markets, supermarkets, restaurants, and retail establishments across the country. In addition, Japanese shrimp is also exported to China, where there is a great demand for seafood. Besides shrimp fishing, Japan's fishing grounds are rich and diverse with many types of crabs. The cold waters of the Sea of Oshtok and the Sea of Japan are ideal for snow and hairy crabs, while the warmer Pacific Ocean is a habitat for many other species. In shallow seas, where crabs gather in large numbers, the trawl net is dropped to the seabed while the ship moves. It is designed to collect crabs and remove other types of seafood. After catching, fishermen will classify. During this process, crabs that do not meet the standards will be released back into the sea in order to preserve crab production in the next season. The waters around Indonesia are amazing. They are full of healthy fish and tiny squid. There are thousands of species of seafood that call this sea their home. This is also a place fishermen do not want to miss out on. Now let's watch how Indonesian fishermen catch millions of tons of seafood. Indonesia has the second longest coastline in the world. The underwater scenery here is breathtaking, as are the coral reefs, which are home to many of the world's largest varieties of lobster. The town of Pantai Geseng is located in the volatile south coast of central Java. Here, fishermen often focus on catching lobsters for around 3 months of the year. Of course, they still have to comply with some government quota regulations. Normally, fishermen are prohibited from catching lobsters lighter than 300 grams or with shells smaller than 8 centimeters. Lobsters are caught using a variety of fishing gear throughout the year. But in Indonesia, lobster fishermen mainly use specialized lobster nets or traps. This primitive fishing method is carried out on small boats. For fishermen in Pantai Geseng, catching lobster is very easy. They just need to go to the sea in the bay near their home and fish, and they only spend around $8 in fuel per trip. In this area, fishermen often set nets to catch lobsters. This is because the sea here is too deep to use traps. Lobsters caught in traps are often still alive, so fishermen only keep those that are larger than the limit. But lobsters caught in nets are often dead when pulled out. The number of lobsters caught in the net is not very many. Removing spiny lobsters from the net is rather difficult. Fishermen must be very skillful so that the lobster still has enough claws to sell at a high price. They also want to be gentle so that the net does not tear, because the catch depends a lot on the quality of the net. Lobsters are preserved in seawater to maintain freshness and meat quality. Most fishing boats prepare preservation equipment. This is an important step in deciding what price your lobsters will sell for. After catching, lobsters are put into mesh bags. They are then soaked in seawater again so that they are still alive and fresh when brought ashore. If the catch is high and the quality of lobsters are good, traders can buy them for $20 per kilogram. Indonesia is an important country in the global seafood industry, focusing on tuna and squid. The country's squid fishing and processing industry has seen significant growth, with 95,000 tons of squid caught in 2023. Squid come out to feed at night, so squid fishermen use bright lights to lure them to the surface. Green lights are especially effective when fishing. Indonesian squid fishing vessels often move in groups of 20 to 30 vessels. The squid in this area is surrounded by bright lights throughout the night. Traditional techniques are also one of the best for commercial fishing. Squid are caught using fishing lines equipped with jigs, usually seen on small vessels registered with 12 to 15 miles off the eastern coast of Medan. Some fishermen catch squid by pulling on a rope. This is one of the most popular techniques for catching them. Fishermen need to throw squid bait and then wait a few seconds until the bait touches the bottom. Then they pull the rope and raise the fishing line up and down. You can relax or stop for a few seconds to let the bait sink and then slowly jerk it back up. This technique makes the bait move continuously and attracts the squid. When hooked, the squid doesn't protest much, so there aren't many signs. But fishermen will feel the fishing line is a little heavier. Fishermen need to pull up the fishing line and reel it in gently. This is because sometimes the tentacles can escape the hooks if the fishermen reel too hard. Choosing the right bait is one of the important parts of squid fishing. Therefore, it is necessary to prepare bait according to colour and light reflection. Choosing the colour of squid bait can determine the success or failure of a squid fishing trip. In around 3 days at sea, you could catch around 300 kilograms of squid. Fishermen in Bangka, Belitung choose squid fishing because it's easy to catch them and they have a high selling value, bringing in more profit than other types of fishing. Indonesia's tuna catch is among the top in the world all year round, accounting for around 16% of the world's total tuna supply. In 2023, the country caught and produced 790,000 tons of tuna, worth around $1.7 billion. Yellowfin and skipjack tuna are by far the most popular targets. They are most common in Indonesia from May till October. Often fishermen will find large schools of tuna in deeper waters. During the spawning season, the abundant tuna resources in the Indian and Pacific Oceans will return to the Indonesian archipelago, where the sea level is shallower and richer in nutrients. This is an ideal environment for the growth and reproduction of tuna. At the same time, it is also the best time for tuna fishing and trading activities. Fishermen mainly use seine nets to catch. They will determine the current and wind direction through the movement of the boat. The net is usually placed diagonally across the water line. When all the nets and buoys are released into the sea, the fishermen have their initial success in catching. Buoys floating on the water create an enclosure. Below the sea surface is a super large trap. The tuna did not know that they were swimming in a fishing net. When the fishermen pull up the net, all the tuna will be brought on board. The tuna is pulled onto the ship using a crane and conveyor system. To ensure quality, tuna is stored immediately in cold storage to ensure the freshness of the meat. Fishermen have to go offshore for weeks looking for schools of tuna. They move very fast and can swim long distances, making casting and hauling nets very difficult. In addition, fishermen have to work in harsh conditions and must store tuna at very low temperatures to maintain quality. Fishing in Indonesia is not a hot spot, and it's not famous for its luxury vessels. But still, it creates adventure for fishermen. There's the excitement of chasing and catching giant marlin. Marlin are commonly found in coastal waters, from coral reefs to the edge of the continental shelf. These marlin are famous for their ability to swim fast, engage in fierce battles, and test even the sturdiest fishing rods. Therefore, marlin fishing has very little chance of success. They are also masters of escape. Fishermen must learn tricks to be able to save a lot of time and money on their trips. Every year, marlin migrate closer to shore, following the warm tropical waters south. During their migration, they will stop and feed where bait fish are abundant. And that's where fishermen focus their efforts in order to get the best fishing results. Marlin can be caught using a variety of fishing techniques, depending on the location. Ships in Indonesia often catch marlin using nets. When choosing a suitable location, fishermen will cast their nets. The net is soaking in the sea for around 4 to 6 hours. After a while, the fishermen will start pulling the net to check if they've caught something. If they are lucky, they will discover giant marlins. The weight of the marlin is really heavy, so each batch requires around 4 to 5 fishermen to pull the net up together. They coordinated well together to control and remove the marlin from the net. To be safe, the fishermen cut off its sharp tip. This is a weapon that can injure fishermen. After this, the fishermen will wash the fish and remove any excess dirt and debris in order to prepare for the preservation process. Some fishermen will be in charge of transferring the newly harvested marlin to the storage area. The process of transferring fish to the cellar is also quite difficult. First, the fisherman will tie down a rope to the fish's tail, and 2 people will pull the rope to bring the fish down to the ship's hold. Fishermen standing on the below deck will coordinate to reduce pressure. After sorting, the marlin is transferred to frozen storage for preservation until they reach shore.